Which Wenjin should you grab for free in version 2.5? If you're looking for my recommendations for agents, there should be a previous video on the channel where I give my thoughts on which agent you should grab, and for this video, we will focus primarily on the Wenjins at Refinement 1. I will structure this video in a sort of tier list where I will recommend agents who can get either great value, medium value, or low value from that Wenjin. And based on which agents you have who are missing their signature Wenjin, pick one of the Wenjins that will be of great value on your account. Keep in mind, each account is different, and if you find this video helpful, don't forget to follow for more guides. First, starting with Flamemaker Shaker, which requires you to hit enemies up to 10 times with assist attacks or EX special attacks on anomaly agents. This is rather hard for most anomaly agents outside of Bernie's. It's not going to see much value over something like Weeping Gemini, and no, Vivian attacks are not counted as assists. Jade Teapod would be great if its requirement on basic attacks were just a bit lower, since 15 hits in 30 seconds, let alone the full 30, is rather hard to do on most stunners, including Qingyi, but works surprisingly well on Trigger. Sharpened Stinger, the requirements for this to outdo other Wenjins is at a high level of skill. For the average player, I do not recommend this Wenjin majority of the time, as it's not worth the effort. Hellfire Gears, a goated Wenjin for most stunners who don't have insane stat requirements and like to spend energy. The Restrained, while not as good as Hellfire Gears in the stun department, it does offer a bit more damage for the stunner, so if you're into some weird DPS stunner build, otherwise Hellfire Gears better option 90% of the time. Steel Cushion, the critical rate stat stick, very commonly ran even off style type just to boost agent critical rate when their signature Wenjin is not available. While I don't personally recommend doing this, I know plenty of players do, so I wanted to mention it. Otherwise, as a DPS option, it really depends on playstyle, since most agents would get a lot more value from the Brimstone if they're able to fulfill its conditions while also not suffering in the stats department. But one thing to mention is that if this Wenjin is placed on Yixing Guang, you can easily overfill on critical rate. So if you decide to run this, just be sure to focus only on critical damage for your drive disc. The Brimstone, pretty much every attack agent who isn't Hugo, Orpheum Magus, and Evelyn can get great value from this Wenjin, as long as you're still able to hit the minimum critical rate and critical damage requirements. It's not worth it if you're running 40 to 50% critical rate when you're fully buffed up, so keep that in mind. Fusion Compiler, the Wenjin that requires a totally different build on agents. Great for units like Miyabi and Alice, as long as you're building them with penetration as the main stat. Otherwise, stick to other Wenjins like Weeping Gemini. Finally, Weeping Cradle, a low-key goated off-field energy Wenjin. While not as good as Kaboom the Cannon in the DPS department, the utility of additional energy can be huge for some agents when they're off-field. But let me know